Is it money and comfortability over love nowadays for you?
Money. For me, it's love, but that's because I've got my own money and comfortability.
Okay. No, I think he's saying like, are you preferring to have like your money and being comfortable over like choosing love that may have its difficulties and challenges?
So I would love to have love, but I've tried love with someone who had nothing and it was just really, really hard work. So I am comfortable in like, yeah, where I'm at with money and everything.
When you say it was difficult, was it difficult because he had nothing?
He had no money, didn't contribute. And although I had the love with him, you know, there were so many other issues. I was like, well, we can't just go away like normal couples or do things on the weekends like normal couples as much.
Yeah.
You know, everything was a struggle and it was all falling on me. If I wanted to do something, I had to pay for it. If I wanted to do something with him, I had to pay for it.
Well, now you know how it feels to be a man.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome.
I know.
You want equality, right? Welcome.
But the last few years of my life, I do feel like I am attracting those kind of men, you know, where I'm the one having to pay because I want to do it and they don't have it. And I'm like, I'm not doing that no more. So I've stepped right back and I'm like, unless it's an equal playground or they're the man, take control, which I find very attractive, then yeah, I'm not interested.
Why do you think you've been attracting those kind of men?
Because I'm a bit of a control freak and
very honest.
I'm quite generous. So I'm just like, I will offer it and they'll take it basically. So, I mean, if someone offers something, you're going to take it, aren't you? Sometimes.
That's
not
true.
Always. But you know.
But why do you think it's those, why do you think it's those men that you're attracting? Because you could offer it and it could be the kind of guy that you say that you want, right? And he might say yes and then I'm going to do this for you. Or he might say, no, it's all right, I'll do this for us, babe. Do you know what I mean? So why do you think it's those guys that have been receiving that offer and generosity from you?
I'm not really sure. It's hard to answer that question because I think I've had that chemistry and I've held on to it. And I've been like, okay, well, let's go away this weekend. Oh no, I haven't got the money at the moment. I'll pay. I want to go. Like, so, and then I'll be like, oh, okay. You know.
Yeah, I guess they're like, okay, why not?
And yeah, that's how you can stay in something that's not right, you know, and something that's wrong because you just think of the chemistry and whatever. So money isn't a big thing for me, but they've got to be able to hold their own, you know. You're
saying they have to be able to hold their own for the lifestyle that you're leading for yourself right now?
No, not necessarily. They've got to be able to, you know, be able to afford their own bills.
Their own household bills?
Not necessarily have their own house, but they've got to be able to stand on their own 2 feet, pay for their own car, pay for their own general bills, their phone, be able to afford to go out for a meal a couple of times a month. You know, look after themselves.
Yeah. Do you feel like you, because obviously, you know, you've built a business for yourself, become successful in that sense. Do you lead with that? Like, do you lead with that when you're out or when you're with guys in terms of, oh, you know, this is what I've got going on, this is what I'm doing, you know, and I know you said, you know, it's great to have this awareness that you can be quite hands-on, controlling a bit of the times, you know, and I get when you have a business, like you have to be, not controlling the guy, but like, you know, you like to, you know how to handle a situation. And if you feel the best way, you'll be like, well, I'll just do it because I know the best way, right? So do you feel like you lead with that with guys at times?
Yeah, but I think at the beginning of dating, it's very attractive to men how I am. But that's at the beginning. I've got my own house, I've got my own car, I've got my own business. Like I've been independent since the age of 18, you know, and that is really attractive to men at the beginning. And then as we get into it, they start feeling a little bit emasculated and find me quite intimidating. And, you know, then the digs come and the comments and the sly remarks, like casually putting me down, you know, and little things like, oh, wow, you know, because I've got a studio in the garden. That's where I've got, and it's massive, you know, it's not just like a little shed, it's a proper studio. And you know, I would get the odd comment of, oh wow, if I worked at home all day. It's like, I'm not working, I'm working. I'm not at home all day, you know.
And these are guys who aren't, would you say, who just aren't on your level? that you're getting these comments from, or guys who are on your level and above?
I did have it from someone who was on my level. Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking about
so I would say,
be careful what I say.
I think, so don't get me wrong, it's great that, you know, you've been independent. Of course, you said you had to be, you know, because of just kind of your family dynamic and stuff. And you've built this for yourself, which is amazing. But if that part of you, if that part of Shanice is what is attractive to men, that side of you, the independence, the go-getter, all of that stuff, that's the very masculine side. Yeah. Right?
I know.
And the masculine attracts the feminine. And the feminine attracts the masculine. So if you're saying, well, guys are attracted to this masculine side of me, that means the guys that are attracted to that side are the guys who are more in their feminine. Which is why they're looking at you to lead. They're looking at you to sort things out. They're looking to submit to your leadership.
No, you're right.
And you're like, that's not what I want.
Yeah, it's not.
Do you know what I mean?
I want a proper old school masculine man, holds the fort, kind of puts me in my place a bit, you know? Yeah, I've always been in charge of my own bills. I've never had a man pay for me. Like, they pay for holidays, you know, the odd thing here and there.
Yeah.
But I've always done my own bills. And that's what I'd always want. Do you know what I mean? Unless we teamed up. But I would like someone who I don't have to worry about them and how they're handling their life, their financial circumstances, where they're going, their ambition. And I think the misconception with a couple of my relationships is I'm not trying to push you to break you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you be a better person, you know?
I get that. But I think what can happen unconsciously is part of the reason you're trying to push them is because you want them to become the kind of man that you want to choose in that area of their life. And that's what they feel. Because ultimately, what it actually, and while I get for you, you're like, I'm trying to push you because you might be like, I see the potential you have, so I'm trying to push you to reach that. What he hears is, I don't accept you.
Yeah, I'm not enough.
I'm not enough.
No, I agree.
And it's not okay, but that's when the comments come, being like, oh, you think I'm not enough? Well, you fucking work at home all day.
Yeah, I know.
How's that enough? Like, you fucking do this, you do that. Does that make sense?
And definitely. And I would say that one of my relationships, that was 100% exactly that.
Yeah.
But then the other one, I was actually pushing him in the love aspect, you know, to be a better partner, to commit more, you know, the marriage, things like that. So one, I was pushing career, one, I was pushing love, and you know, you can't get everything.
I get that. So here's how I would ask, how were you doing it? Because were you kind of telling him what he can do to grow, or were you like supporting him?
Supporting.
Okay.
I was supporting.
Fair enough.
Always support. I never tell people what to do, but I'm just like, you know, we could do this, we could do that. Like, you know, I can help you with this, X, Y, Z, you know. And I think sometimes people do need that positive voice to help them along.
We all need support.
You know,
yeah, of course.
But you just got to do it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you can't change someone.
No.
They're not going to change for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think the kind of masculine, successful, ambitious guy that maybe you're looking for, he's not looking at you and being like, oh, the fact that she's independent, has her own business, she's successful, that's attractive. Like, that's not what he's looking at you. And he's going like, that's attractive. He's going to be like, okay, first, does he find you attractive? Cool, tick. What's her demeanor like? Is she nice and pleasant to be around?
Yeah.
If, you know, does she allow me to take leadership? Because, yeah, I hear from a lot of women, especially if they're quite successful and they're independent, they're like, I want a guy to come in and take leadership, but they don't provide the space for him to do that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And part of providing the space, especially in the early days, is like, okay, let's say a guy is, let's say he's like, okay, we're going to go in the London Eye, you know, tonight, right? Like, I booked us to go in the London Eye. And he's like, I'm going to pick you up. Let's say
I'd love that.
Yeah, 100%, right? Let's say he's picked you up and he's driving and stuff, and you feel there's a faster way to get there.
Okay.
Right? And at the moment, the way he's going, you feel like it's not the best way. You feel like you know the faster way. How would you handle that situation?
Tell him the faster way.
Wrong, Shanice. Oh, no. Wrong.
Babe.
So here's the thing. You offer it as a suggestion.
Okay.
But you don't tell him.
Yeah. Okay.
Because whenever we tell someone to do something, that means we're trying to come from a place of authority.
Right.
And if you're with a strong masculine man, even if you're right, he's going to reject that.
Definitely.
Does that make sense?
I know where I'm going wrong, but I'm
We're going to practice right now.
Okay.
We're driving the car, going to London Eye, and you find a better way. Go.
Babe, I've just seen like a better route to get there. Would you like want to have a look?
Yeah, sure. I'll have a look.
Is that better?
Golden. That was a suggestion.
Okay. I'll just take a minute every time I'm going to talk, and then hopefully the delivery's better.
It's funny because I think a lot of the time guys are like, guys, we have to learn very quickly when we start dating women and stuff, like how we say something is sometimes more important than what the actual message is for a lot of women. And while a lot of time guys speak very directly, when it comes to the woman that he cares about, when it comes to the woman that he wants to take care of, the woman that he wants to provide for, the woman he wants to feel safe, when it comes to her, he's way more sensitive.
Right.
So how you say it becomes more important.
Okay.
Because especially for a masculine man, respect is love to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you come from a place of trying to tell him, it's like what you're saying to him is, I don't trust you to lead us.
Yeah.
Whereas when you go, hey, I wanted to offer this as a suggestion, why don't you have a look? That looks like you're being a teammate, not that you're trying to take the reins.
I'm having a lot of realisation now.
It's all right.
Like,
that's what
things are actually just coming back in my head thinking, oh.
Anything specific that comes back that you're like, oh my gosh, that was when I,
Yeah, just not trusting my exes. Not in terms of cheating.
Yeah.
In their decisions. And just one thing came into my mind was someone who I was with, like when I was 21, like for a while.
Yeah.
He started trimming the garden, and I didn't trust him. I didn't think he was capable
of cutting the grass. Yeah. You were like, I can't trust you to do this.
No, I was watching him, and I was on tenterhooks. Like, he can't do that right. Like, he's not. And I was like, just stop. And he was like.
You like being in control, don't you?
And I was like, it was just so klutzy all the time. And I just thought, oh my God, he's going to cut himself or he's going to break the strimmer. Yeah, that has just come back into my mind. I thought,
so here's the thing, right? With the kind of guy that you say that you want, if that is the energy that he's met with, he's going to be like, this girl's just not for me.
Yeah.
And he might indulge with you sexually. He might be like, because I'm really attracted to her. But in terms of, because our husband is looking for a wife, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of the long term, he might, okay, cool. She's great for short term, but kind of long term, she's not really the energy and vibe that I'm looking for.
They couldn't cope with it long term, yeah.
Well, it's, guys, especially that kind of man, he's looking for a woman to support him and trust in him.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like by default, like if a guy chooses you, it's like, okay, if I'm with you, it's like by me choosing you, you are the woman that I choose to care for, to make feel safe and to provide for if that's what I want to be for you.
Yeah.
And so by you choosing a man, by default, you're going, okay, if I'm choosing you, by default, that means I trust you to lead us. No, and if you choose a guy where you don't trust him, that's where there's going to be conflict. Unless if he's a man more in his feminine, he'll accept that.
Yeah, so this is another thing I will say, and it's not just me, my friends that are very strong, independent, we're quite similar, have exactly the same issue. Like, we call bullshit when we see it, like very early on. Like, if we
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't, but it just, straight away, if I see something that I think's fishy, doesn't add up, strange behaviour, and these are from the masculine men, the very masculine men. They cut you off straight away.
Can you give me an example?
So you're dating someone, for instance, you might not be intimate yet because you're not official, anything like that. It's not, you haven't had the chat, but you have said that you're exclusive, but not exclusive. You're not girlfriend, boyfriend, but you're not dating anyone else.
Sure.
Anyway, they go off the radar for the night, and then they come up with some random excuse and they're nowhere to be seen. Well, obviously, like, something's gone down, and actually you then find out later down the line they've been on a date with someone else, or they've been sleeping with someone, or, you know.
I hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.